It's your number 2.
My number 2 is...
Squeeze it out. Pinch it off. The bags under my eyes are growing bags, and those bags have really dry skin. I've been having to put lotion under my eyes like 3 times a day to get rid of the dry skin that are on the bags of my bags that are under my eyes.
What? So
good.
So
yeah.
you doing
going good. Been really busy, which is why that's kind of the problem with everything going on up there. Mm-hmm. We've got a tour coming up. I don't know when this video will be coming out, but we got production rehearsals end of May. And then we've got a show at the Emerson Theater here in Indianapolis, where we're from.
All right.
Going to be opening up for a band called Saving Abel. Probably heard of them from when we were in high school. They had a big song on rock radio and maybe even top 40. But that'll be cool. Just anytime you play with a band that you listen to at all, growing up. Not that I listened to them a lot. It was more just a song I heard on the radio a lot, but it'll be cool. Hopefully we can learn something from them, and it'll be a good time. Nice. And then from that, we'll be going north. Lot of northern Indiana and Michigan dates. Still kind of ironing out a lot of that. And then we'll come home for like a week in July, hopefully film another episode or 2 when I'm home. And then we head back out. We'll be going east. So Pennsylvania, we'll do some Ohio, and then going straight out to Canada.
Canada?
Yeah, we'll be near Winnipeg.
Wow.
Yeah. Canada, eh? So that'll be cool. I still have a lot of booking to do. I do all of our booking, as you know, but they don't. And booking a no-name band for a 3-month-long tour is exhausting.
So what's your process with that? Do you just send out emails as much as you can, see what bites?
Yeah, so usually the tours start with what we would call an anchor date. So usually that would be someone coming to us, or we book a festival or something. And then all of a sudden we need to book shows to get us to and from. And so we have some old contacts, whether it was old shows we've booked, whether it's, bands that we've toured with, like promoters that we met from them. So I'll reach out to them first. And then, there's a decent amount of, send out a lot of cold emails, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
To book some off dates, but it's been going really well. So been busy booking, but then also just prepping drum parts. We're adding, for those of you who don't know, we're Christians. And so we're adding some worship songs for when those are needed. So I'm getting those dialed in, and then dusting off the rust on some of our songs, and got a couple new covers. So, so that, it's been a lot.
Well, it's probably exciting to get back into it after the pandemic has been keeping that whole industry kind of on the side.
Yeah, it's been crazy. We've been playing some shows. I remember how weird it was when we did our first couple of shows we did during the pandemic.
Yeah.
We weren't actively booking, but if people came to us, we were open to playing shows.
Right.
But it was just interesting because we were in the middle of a pandemic, and then I remember there was the lull kind of in it. I believe it was the summer of 2020 where it kind of went away a little bit, but like it ended up coming back later.
Yeah.
And we played a festival during that. And it was just so weird that first time you go out, especially like at that time.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, there's 1,000 people here. like we were all like in the same merch area and stuff. But you know how much I love talking about politics, so I could just talk about old COVID all day long.
No. No.
But yeah, so now outside of work life, my neighbor thinks my name is Brian.
You know,
My name's not Brian.
that's one of the names that many people think my name is as well. So
Apparently I look like a Brian.
at least my name is somewhat close to Brian. Yours is not.
So we've been living in this house for 2 years, almost exactly 2 years.
Yeah.
So has this neighbor, and our neighbors are awesome. We have some of the best neighbors. We live in like the best little neighborhood. But I remember, like, what's funny while I'm saying this, I'm like, I think his name's Mark, but I'm not 100% sure.
All right. Well,
So
there you go.
I guess we don't know each other's names. But like, I've definitely said my name to him a long time ago.
Yeah.
And then at some point, he must have forgot. And I remember kind of a long time ago, like, thinking he called me the wrong name, but like, I couldn't quite hear him. So I was like, I don't know if he knows what my name is. And so then, like, time has gone on, and that happened again, where I was like, and I could never remember what the name was that he was calling me. And just recently, I was taking Gus, my dog, out on a walk, and I see Mark ?
Question mark.
on out by his front yard, and he was trying to mow the lawn, and he found these little baby bunnies. I don't know if you saw, I think Natalie posted something about them on social media.
Yep.
But he found them, and he didn't want to, slaughter baby bunnies while he was mowing his lawn. So he put them all in like a box, and he knows Natalie's name because he was like, I should back up. So he was like, hey, like, do you think Natalie would like know what to do with these while I'm mowing the lawn? And I was like, the reason he thought of her was because a couple nights before that, she found a baby possum and made it her own. It was living under our deck. And she like wrapped it up in a towel and was like cuddling a baby possum.
That's gross.
It was kind of cute. She woke me up when it was all happening. This is at like midnight. And because I'm an old man now, I have to be asleep by midnight usually. Right. Not always. Usually not. It was actually kind of a halfway rare occasion, but I am kind of a night owl. But she like woke me up and she was like, I got the baby possum. And I was like kind of confused and was like, just don't bring it inside. And then I went back to sleep and woke up the next day to the pictures. But so our neighbor knew that happened. And so he thought of Natalie, my wife, if you don't know. He thought of her for these baby bunnies, and they were like adorable. And I was like, she would kill me if I didn't bring these baby bunnies over to our place while he mows the lawn. And I was, we'll figure out what to do with them after that. Cause he was like, yeah, like, maybe Natalie will know what to do with them. And looking back at it, I'm like, you know Natalie's name and not mine. And it's the confidence he has when he says Brian.
Right.
So anyways, I can't remember exactly when it happened, but I think it was at that moment when I like took this box of baby bunnies and was like walking him back. He mentioned something about like, cool, yeah, like, you know, I know you guys are going to be, you know, you guys are really good with this kind of stuff, Brian. Like, not like unsure about it at all. And I'm too deep in. I didn't say anything. I just accepted
You're Brian
that
now.
I'm Brian to him now.
Oh no.
So I don't know what to do about it. But the funny thing is, so like I said, we've kind of like known he didn't know my name for a while.
Right.
He knows Natalie's name, and Natalie will actually like kind of go out of her way and be like, cool, like I'll go talk to David about it, and like name drop me like more than like natural.
Yeah.
And he hasn't picked up on it. So now
Probably
we're
just
like,
thinks you're talking about somebody else.
Who does he think David is?
Yeah.
Is there some other guy that's been coming to my house that I don't know about that he thinks is David? Is it Brian?
Yeah, that's actually Brian. Yeah. Oh no.
So I don't know what to do about that.
Yeah. I mean, you probably have similar experience like growing up with a brother that has a similar name.
Yeah,
and
so for those of
constantly
you
being called.
For those of you that don't know, my brothers are Daniel and Derek. Dad's Don. Yeah. Uncle's Doug. Grandpa's Dave. Cousin's Dalton.
Yeah.
Dogs were Dasher and Dancer. So,
yeah. I mean, I can't even count how many times I've been called Ben, my brother's name. And the confidence always gets you where you just don't know how to correct them because they're just so confident.
There's no doubt in his mind that my name's Brian.
Yeah. It's like, what do you do? Like, you can correct him, but since he's so confident, he's probably not gonna like think that next time. He's gonna continue to call you Brian.
Oh no, we're in way too deep now.
Even if you correct him.
Because that one was very clear. What's funny, there's no way this will ever happen, but like if somehow this podcast got back to him. He's such a good guy. Like I said, I love all of my neighbors. They're wonderful people. I just happen to think that this is really funny.
Yeah. And to be fair, some people are just really bad with names.
Like me.
Yes, like you.
Mark, question mark.
Question mark.
Question mark. I don't... Mark?
Question mark.
Yeah. And I don't know his wife's name at all. I don't know it.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's fair that he doesn't know my name. It's the confidence that he doesn't know my name with that's so funny.
Yeah. That's great.
What have you been up to since our last podcast?
This week has just kind of felt like
just really flew by.
No. I mean, no, actually, no. No.
It's not been very long since our last podcast.
But just overall this week has just felt weird. I mean, I already talked on the last episode about my apartment issues, and that just makes being at home miserable. But it also just feels like this week just doesn't exist. Like, I've gone to work, but like I feel like I haven't gone to work.
I get it.
It's weird. It's really weird. It's been a weird week. So, yeah, there's nothing else going on. This podcast is all I have.
Yeah, I get it. I kind of feel the same way.
Yeah, except you have a wife and a dog.
Such a good boy.
Okay, so our main topic for today.
Really only topic.
We're not going to talk about news today. We're going to
Nothing's really happened since the last filming.
Would you stop mentioning the last podcast episode? I just want to continue on. Move forward.
get on with our lives.
We're going to talk about our top 10 games of all time. And our lists are very different.
Yeah, we live really different lives. I haven't looked through your list yet. I'm not going to. I'm going to let you. I kind of know a couple of them, but I'm going to let when you say them be the first time.
Okay. I've looked through yours, but it doesn't really matter because I haven't played half of them. We had very different childhoods. It's a wonder we became friends at all.
It is.
But
so we've been friends since 3rd grade, technically?
Technically, yeah. When
I don't really
you started going to my school.
So I don't really remember that far back, to be completely honest.
Well,
but one thing I do remember is
oh no.
I think for the longest time, I think you gave me like, maybe I'm thinking of the wrong person, but I think it was
Oh no.
I think you gave me like a headshot picture, like school picture, that I had for the longest time.
I mean, everyone did that.
I didn't.
Yeah, because you were new.
Maybe that's...
You didn't have any friends except for us.
But I think yours was the only one. But it's so funny because it's like in my mind, you've got a picture of your wife and your kids in your wallet. I'm walking around and the only picture I had that I think was probably in my wallet for a while was just a picture of you.
Why?
Because you gave it to me.
You could have just thrown it away.
I think I forgot about it. And then I found it like years later when I was like switching wallets.
Okay. What's really weird is I remember every grade of what outfit I wore for my picture.
I wonder if I can remember what you were wearing in this
I'm
picture.
pretty
I think
sure
it was like a green shirt.
Pretty sure 3rd grade was like a green and brown striped shirt.
Yeah. That's what it was. Do you want to walk away, Gus?
Oh, man. Yeah, that shirt, I loved it because I was obsessed with turtles, and I thought it looked a lot like this specific species of turtle that I really liked.
I remember one year, I hope it was when I was this young, but I think it was like 1st or 2nd grade. I thought it was so cool that I wore a Rocket Power t-shirt to picture day.
Yeah, I was always forced to wear something nice for my parents, but there was one year,
Gus.
I think it was 8th grade, which is when we started hanging out a lot. When we like started the band and everything.
Yeah.
That was like
sure.
my big rebellion year where I was like, no, Mom, I'm wearing what I want to wear. So I wore just like a Switchfoot shirt. That was like...
That sounds right.
It was like not a good look at all.
I don't think I figured out how to look okay in a picture until, probably at least senior year. And that's just good for me.
I'm still figuring it out.
Like, I don't look good in a picture, but like, I look capable of being in one.
Capable of being in one? That's a very low bar.
If you set the bar low, it's easier to achieve.
That's true. Yeah, I'd never have taken a good picture.
Gus, are you just making a bunch of weird noises in the mic today?
All right. So
video games.
Stop talking about our 3rd grade picture. Wait, okay, so I was the only picture that you had.
If I still have it. There's no way. I think I finally threw it out, which is actually kind of sad.
So you thought it was weird that I gave you a picture. No one else gave you a picture?
No.
So it was a thing. I don't know if it was just our school.
Maybe I had maybe I got 1 or 2 others.
But like you would get the pictures ordered and you would have like the wallet sized ones or like
I never knew what to do with those.
And like you would just give it to your friends, and that was what you did in elementary school. Even people you didn't even know. We did that.
So you didn't actually like me? You just gave me the picture?
I mean...
Were we close? Like, I don't think we were like super close, like 3rd through like
no, because
6th or 7th grade.
You were new, and you just kind of like...
I think I was just there. Like,
we just
had
like,
classes together.
Yeah, but you like kind of latched on to like me and Alex and Quentin and
That was yeah. So yeah, I kind of ran in your circle.
You did, but since you were new, it was like you were the new guy. So
yeah. Well, and it's crazy how that comes full circle because obviously I'm telling this story for them, not you, but like then, and I think it was at 8th grade that I started going to church.
Yeah, I think so. Or 7th.
I think it might have been 7th, but I like walk into church because Daniel had been going and my dad started going there, and I walked in to youth group before church. And I knew like Daniel would be there, but like I didn't think I would know anybody else. I walk in and I just see like you and Tyler's dumb faces look at me. And I was like, oh, this is going to work out all right.
Yeah, that was so weird.
Sorry, you guys don't have dumb faces. You guys are very handsome.
Tyler has a dumb face. Just kidding.
He's a very beautiful ginger.
Yeah, that was very unexpected to see you just show up at my church that had been going to since I was like 3.
Yeah, that had to have been weirder for you than me.
It was very weird.
You weren't expecting any new people.
No. I mean,
I think I walked in like kind of late too.
We had new people all the time. Like we were really big at that point.
Yeah, it was a really healthy church, but
our youth group was huge. But
you say that, and then you play a few church shows for some really big youth groups. Our youth group was healthy. I wouldn't say it was huge.
At that point, it was pretty big. We had probably
like 30 regulars, maybe, if that.
Yeah. Okay,
it's a healthy for the size
free
of the
Methodist churches. That's big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you were the best man at my wedding. All right.
Anyways,
top
games.
video games. Do you want to go first? Or do you want me to
do you want
first?
to just alternate? Like you give your first and I'll give my first?
That's genius.
All right, you go first then.
I don't want to go first.
All right, I'll go first.
I'll go first. So number 10.
Oh. Okay.
That's how we're starting, right?
Sure.
It would be really anticlimactic to start with number 1,
That's
wouldn't it?
That's true.
Were you going to start with number 1?
I was. But we don't have to.
Have you ever done a list before?
No, this is my first time.
All right, me too. I've heard you should start with 10.
Have you heard that?
Through the grapevine? It seems right.
Okay.
So
I'm waiting on you.
So, number 10 on the Game Boy.
Mm-hmm.
One of the games I spent a lot of time on, rarely finished.
Oh, come on.
And came back to a lot, was Pokemon Blue.
Mm-hmm.
I could have gone with any of the first Pokemons. I've played, I think all of them. It was just 3 of them, right? So you red, blue, and yellow. I guess yellow technically came a little later. Maybe.
It did, yep.
But I played through all of them. Any of them could be my favorite, but I think I ended up picking blue because I feel like I usually ended up with Squirtle. It ends up being Blastoise when I made it far enough.
Right.
I feel like, so when Pokemon came out, I was at an age where like I didn't really finish games a lot.
Right.
So I don't know how often I made it to like the Elite Four on that one. I definitely did a lot because, again, for whatever reason, the game had replayability for me, even though I feel like it wasn't necessarily designed to. So I played that one a lot. That's why it's on the list. And that just Pokemon was like a staple of our household.
Right.
Didn't we have a friend that wasn't allowed to play Pokemon?
I wasn't for
Was
a long
that you?
time.
Okay, I thought I was gonna ask if it was you.
Yeah. Yeah, we weren't allowed to have anything to do with Pokemon for a long time until like middle school. Which
Was it the fighting?
No, it was I don't really know. My parents were really weird back then. I mean, they're still weird, but Their
You can
like,
say that, but
shtickiness
your
were
family
weird.
like is like my favorite family ever. Like no joke.
I mean,
All right, back to
that's
games.
fair. But yeah, I don't know why. I don't know exactly why they didn't let us. I think it was just because it was these weird creatures that they didn't understand. And they
That-
thought they were really against magic back then.
Yeah,
As
well,
most conservative Christians were,
Yeah,
like
and-
super skeptical about magic related stuff.
it's fair. Like you should be careful about what your kids are getting into, and if you don't understand it, then don't let them play it.
Well, yeah, and it's just kind of like back then it was just widely accepted to avoid magic stuff.
And beat your kids.
Maybe. In other households.
No, yeah, not accusing your parents of that. Or mine.
Yeah, so it was like Pokemon, Harry Potter, but for some reason they were okay with Lord of the Rings and Star Wars,
Thank goodness.
which
What would you be if you didn't get into that stuff?
yeah. So it was like a weird like double standard with their whole views, which they eventually like, you know, they were okay with a lot of it eventually, but
Maybe I'm wrong. Well, no, we don't need to. I feel like your parents kind of mellowed out over time in general.
oh yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've always kind of looked up to them, though. Like I said, I love your family. Anyways, I don't want this to get sentimental at all. What's your number 10?
Is there anything else you want to say about Pokemon? I feel like you got cut off.
No, so I guess I will say with my list, I didn't like I wouldn't put like Pokemon Blue and Silver. Like for the list, I try to keep it to kind of like one game, you know.
Yeah, I did the same.
So I could have gone with any. I played. My big ones were from Blue, Silver through Ruby, and then I got into Pokemon Go pretty heavily for a short period of time.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So,
That's funny.
so when it first came out, gosh, this is embarrassing, but I want the show to be authentic. I think I went out that first night by myself and was out like all night playing it.
Really?
And I ran into like coworkers that I was working with at the time randomly. Like that's how big this game was when it came
was
out.
huge.
Like there were so many kids out. Not necessarily kids. I mean, I was.
Yeah.
What year did it come out?
It was in 2016. It was when I was living in Chicago with Nate. And like I didn't live like in Chicago, but like
Yeah.
even just outside in the suburbs, you'd see people out all the time playing. Like you could tell they're playing it.
Yeah.
They have their phone in their hand and they're like looking around.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
That first night I was out like all night playing this stupid Pokemon game.
Yeah.
Just having the time of my life. But like looking back at it, like I remember, I think it was that night, like I'm pretty sure I might have ran into those friends like at a cemetery. Like the things you get into playing that game
Interesting.
were ridiculous. Yeah, the more I talk, the worse this is going to sound. But then we ended up, I think shortly after Pokemon Go came out, we had a big tour. Our old band did. And so we would like wander around new cities and towns and stuff playing it. And
Yeah.
so it was fun. It was cool. It was really good timing. It didn't stick. I still have it on my phone.
Really?
Yeah. So Natalie will play it every once in a while. And so like there was a time, I mean, within, the last year or two where like if we were going for like a walk or something, we would
Yeah.
whip out Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Blue is the one that I probably played the most. Played it on emulators, like, semi recently. I mean, within the last 3-4 years. Probably.
Yeah, I do fairly regularly.
So
I mean, not Blue specifically, but
that one had the biggest like impact on me, I guess.
yeah. So you've played it semi recently, as in like the last 2 2 or 3 years,
I-
or just
I don't
the
know
last
for sure.
decade.
You know, my memory is really bad. Definitely last decade.
Okay.
Maybe last 2 or 3 years. Maybe.
And you said you played up until Ruby.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention too. A lot of this playtime was spent on an emulator during school.
Right. Oh yeah. Everyone played Pokemon during school.
Yeah. And what was the other website that we played games?
There was Cool Math.
Yeah, Cool Math. That's what it was.
There was another one too, but I forget.
The game changer was getting a flash drive and putting
yeah.
Pokemon Go on.
Yeah, once flash drives came out, and we had to use them for school.
Were we in the same keyboarding class?
I think we were. Or
Yeah.
Was it freshman year? I think
Probably.
I think we were in freshman year.
I still don't type correctly.
I know you don't.
But I played a lot of Pokemon.
I noticed
Can
it
you
earlier.
imagine if I wouldn't have been playing emulators, I would actually be able to type like this instead of just pecking away at a keyboard.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't know.
That was a lot of time on my number 10. What's your number 10?
I just think it's interesting that you still consider Blue in your top 10 when I would think, I don't know if you ever played the remakes that came out.
Leaf Green and
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Really?
I probably did on an emulator.
I think those are the better versions of those original ones because they have all of the fixes and the graphics are way nicer.
I remember going through and there were essentially hacks. I guess more mods where you could actually catch them all, and
Yeah.
there's a weird thing you had to do to get Mew to pop up in the game.
Yeah, that weird glitch. Yeah.
It was such a good game though. That is just such a well-made game. This has been enough on Pokemon.
Okay. I guess we can revisit it when I mention it in my list. But my number 10 is
Spoiler.
My number 10 is Spider-Man for the PS4.
Nice. Was that the game that I walked in on you playing recently, or was that a different Spider-Man? That was a newer one, right?
That was Miles Morales. That's it's not technically a sequel, but it's a spin-off.
Anytime I walk in on somebody playing one of the Spider-Man games, we always tell them to go to the tallest building and jump off.
Yeah.
Which I guess would be the Empire State Building in all of them? Question mark.
Yeah. I mean, that's the tallest building in New York, right?
Is it still?
I think so.
I'm not very cultured. I don't think it is anymore.
I don't know. I don't live there.
I don't either. Screw them.
But I did do that for you guys when you saw me playing that game.
Had to.
And that's a very good game too. But I think the first one it had a better story and was overall epic, basically.
I think my brother Derek, I think he's played all the Spider-Man games, and I think that was one of his favorites too. I'd hate to say that he ends up getting all the consoles. I would hate to put words in his mouth and say that that's his favorite, but I know that he really loves the Spider-Man games, and I don't know why I never really got into them.
Yeah, I mean, I loved I shouldn't say all of, but the original.
Was the original
3.
on the GameCube and original Xbox and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's the first time he got into it. I remember seeing him play that all the time on GameCube.
Before the movies came out, there were Spider-Man games based on the animated series on PlayStation 1 and I think on N64 as well. Those were really good too.
Yeah.
But when the movies came out, they based the first one kind of off of those old games. So then the second one was the one that you were actually in open world of New York City. And that was the first one that kind of changed the game for Spider-Man games.
I'm kind of curious.
And superhero games in general.
You'll think it's funny, the one super words. The one superhero game that I actually played a decent amount, I'm going to try to find it.
Okay.
No screen peeking. Because you'll think it's funny.
I'll keep talking about Spider-Man.
Please do.
So the PS4 Spider-Man kind of just took everything that every developer had learned in previous Spider-Man games and just kind of took it all to heart and made a really good game. Took all like open world, the web swinging mechanics themselves from some of those older games, and just basically perfected them.
It looks like such a smooth experience.
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find this.
And the second one should be coming out next year, I believe, 2023. So I'm excited for that.
Maybe it was a Spider-Man game that I played. Your screen peeking. I can see you.
I just see a Sega Genesis game on your screen right now.
I might not be able to find this. This is going to be disappointing.
Oh, I forgot to bring up the Spider-Man game on my screen.
I found one of them. I don't know if this is the one I think this is the one I was thinking of. I guess it was just called Spider-Man on Super Nintendo.
Oh, on Super Nintendo?
Yeah. We were a Nintendo household.
Yeah, I mean, Super Nintendo was my first home console.
Because I remember it had like the X-Men in it. It was Spider-Man X-Men.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's like the main superhero game I've played like throughout my entire life.
Really?
I have never really gotten into superhero games. I don't know why.
I mean, most of them sucked before the Spider-Man games.
I remember thinking that one was pretty good. I mean, for its time.
Okay, yeah.
It was really good for its time.
Yeah, during that era, there were good ones. Like, there were those, and the Ninja Turtle games were really good during that era. I don't know if you ever played any of those.
No,
the Super Nintendo.
Never really got into the Ninja Mutant people.
Yeah. So that's Spider-Man.
What were their names? I got this. Let me guess.
Oh, no.
This is going to be good. The name of the Super Mutant Ninja Turtles? Close?
Close.
Obviously you got the main guy, Lucardo. Arpeggio. And Mike, right?
Ah. Mike. I mean, half right.
Mike the Turtle.
It's half right.
Michelangelo?
There you go. That was like a
3 for 3.
A third right.
What? That was 3 for Michelangelo.
Well, there's 4.
Yeah, of course.
So who's the
I thought
fourth
I
one?
already said 4. So you got Lucardo, you got Michelangelo, Arpeggio, and what was the other one? So I said those 3. So the last one, if I'm remembering correctly, it was Carl.
Carl.
Yeah. He had his friend Jimmy.
Are there 5?
No,
Who's his friend?
This is Bulby.
Are they other turtles?
And they had and Jimmy was a genius.
What was he, a turtle?
No, big hair. Friend was like a superhero or something. Like when he had like an idea, you could see like neutrons. I got it right.
No. You're saying the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are named
Lucardo, Arpeggio, Michelangelo, and Carl from Jimmy Neutron.
Yeah. Carl Weezer.
Was that his last? Yeah, because he wheezed all the time.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Wow.
Holy cow, that was a heck of a 10. I really hijacked that one from you.
Yeah.
Anything else you wanted to talk about?
No, that was
about
good.
Spider-Man?
I said it all while you were looking for your game.
Cool. I need to get this off my screen.
What's your number 9?
I don't remember. Okay, so this one was a good one. What's funny is so many of these at any point in time could have easily, like, all of these were number 1 at one point. It's hard for me to really get a good order on this.
Mm-hmm.
But my number 9 is Super Smash Bros. Melee.
I say melee, but melee is a word.
Melee?
Melee.
Super Smash Bros. Melee.
That's how you guys said it, wasn't it? You guys always pronounced weird things.
We were pretty dumb kids. And some things never change. No, what's funny is when I said it, I knew you were going to correct me.
I have to correct you because people will think that we both think that that's
if
how
we
it
have
is.
any comments, it was going to make fun of both of us.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Super Smash Bros. Melee.
There you go.
Melee.
Milady.
I'm not going to start. Okay.
Don't.
Okay. So yeah, so it was one of the games I spent a ton of time on.
Mm-hmm.
And between that and there's one other game that I think I actually took off my list to include this in Pokemon. Yeah, I did. It was between, because both of these were kind of party games. Party games.
It's getting late.
Yeah, so Super Mario Party. Super Mario Party 4 was going to be another one that almost made the list.
Yeah.
But I went with Smash Bros. Instead because they kind of served the same purpose where it was like, shake, shake, shake. Some of the you're making some weird noises into that mic, buddy. So
He's talking to the dog, not me.
Both of you.
I hope.
Yeah, you probably can't even see the dog on the camera. They serve the same purpose of like really fun games to play with friends and like at parties and sleepovers back in the day.
Right.
And I feel like as a household who grew up on GameCube, if Smash Bros. Didn't make the list, we would get hate mail.
Yeah. That's
So
true.
I had to include it. I loved it. I played Falco was my character of choice. But I had fun playing with a lot of them. So
Falco.
yeah, I can't even remember what game Falco's from.
Falco. Whoops, I just closed it. Falco. Oh, not
Jeez,
Flacco.
I might be saying his name wrong. It's
You
been a
mean
long
Captain
time since I
Falcon?
played. No, so that was one of them, and he would always be like, Falcon Punch! Yeah, there he is, the blue guy.
Yep.
He was always fast. I liked having a fast character to play with.
Yeah, I have only played this game like twice.
Really?
Once was at your house.
That makes sense.
Once was at Greenville when they had a big Smash Bros. Party.
Yeah, because you've never had a GameCube.
Never had a GameCube.
That's why our lists are so different. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. The first time I played a GameCube was when one of Ben's friends came over and brought his, and that was when I first played. I first saw Smash Bros. They were playing it, and then I played one of the games on my list for the first time that way. And I will explain that when I get to it. But
It's funny. The GameCube, and I know it's just because it's what I grew up with, but I felt like the GameCube had the best games.
Yeah, everyone's going to say that about the console they grew up with.
Well, I think maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like the GameCube had like very different games from, whereas like Xbox and PlayStation had a lot of similar games.
Yeah, because I mean, Nintendo had all their first party games.
Yeah.
Like they didn't allow them to be on any other system.
So, But yeah, that's my 9. I don't think I need to spend as much time on that as I did
Yeah.
on Pokemon.
Speaking of Pokemon, my number 9.
Which one is it?
So it was hard for me to decide which one to put on the list. I put Emerald because I think that's probably the best Pokemon game.
That was after Ruby and Sapphire?
Yeah, so that, you know how like each generation had like the 2 release and then the third one was like an enhanced version?
So it was basically the same as those.
Yeah, so like the first generation had Yellow, the second generation had Crystal, and then the third generation had Emerald. And I think Emerald is probably the best Pokemon game of all time. So that's why I put it on my list.
I grew up on, so Ruby was mine. It was the last one I really got into.
Yeah, that's the one that we had too.
I completely understand why a version of that would make your list.
Yeah, I loved that generation. We also had Ruby, so I didn't actually have Emerald at the time, but since I have played it, it is like slightly better than Ruby. It just like has some improvements to it.
So why that generation over, I'll say previous, because I feel like anything after that for me, it got to be like overwhelming.
Yeah, that was the last generation I really played too. So anything after that, I was just like,
there are too many Pokemon.
That was when the DS came out, and that was like, we were at the age where it was like,
It wasn't cool anymore.
yeah, I've kind of moved on to like other consoles.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the last generation that I really played too, at least to a full extent. I did try them out, but growing up, I think my favorite was Crystal. Just because that's the first one that I got for myself. I played others on other people's Game Boys. I didn't get a Game Boy until like a lot later.
I loved having a Game Boy.
That was probably my favorite console.
It's actually funny how much time I spent on Game Boy, but I kind of forget about it because it's overshadowed by the time I spent on GameCube.
Yeah, I loved my Game Boy to an unhealthy extent.
Didn't we all?
My parents had to take away my Game Boy so many times.
So for you youngins listening, imagine a time before iPads when every kid had a Game Boy. Now they all have iPads. Those poor kids.
I remember I had to save up for my Game Boy myself from like chores and stuff. And since it was like so far past its like release, it was pretty cheap.
Like, had you gotten it, like you probably got that and then like DS came out like shortly after?
No, it wasn't that late.
When did DS come out? Like 2008?
I think it was 2006.
Like around that generation of consoles.
Yeah. 2005.
Oh, wow.
4 and 5.
So it probably didn't really get super mainstream.
When did the Game Boy Advance come out?
That's earlier than I thought. I probably hopped onto the DS kind of late.
The Game Boy Advance came out in 2001. So I think I got mine 2002 because one of the games on my list is one of my favorite games of all time, and it came out in 2002.
I had a Game Boy Color and then a Game Boy Advance.
Yeah, I was obsessed with getting a Game Boy Color. Like anything that had to do with a Game Boy Color, I would be like obsessed with it, and I would want it so bad, but I like never had one.
Well, once I got the Game Boy Advance, I was just playing Game Boy Color games until Ruby came out.
Yeah.
Because really, my Game Boy was basically just what I needed to play Pokemon.
Right. Yeah. So I remember borrowing someone's Game Boy all the time to play Pokemon, their Game Boy Color.
Did you have a save file on there?
No, I just played their save file.
That's terrible. You're the worst friend.
No, he didn't care.
Yeah, he did.
No, he really didn't. He was like, yeah, because I played Gold, I think, on his Game Boy. And I think that was around the time when there was something else that came out around that time. When did the PS1 come out?
Jeez, like 2000. Jeez, I don't even know. When did it come out?
Oh, it was 95. What
Holy
came out
cow.
around that time? 2001. Something came out that distracted him from his Game Boy. So he didn't care. But yeah, that was the first time I had like played a Game Boy. It was just borrowing somebody's.
GameCube 2001.
Oh, maybe,
That's why I
maybe
thought
that was it.
That's why I thought. That's why when you said the original PlayStation, I was gonna say like 2001. I didn't realize how much later GameCube was.
Yeah, because GameCube was during the like PS2.
Yeah.
Well, Nintendo.
Yeah, PS2. PS2 came out in 2000.
Yeah, Nintendo is always like
Yeah.
late with their generation. They're always like a generation off.
Wait, so was Xbox during PS2?
Yeah,
Okay, that's what I thought.
the original Xbox.
I don't know. There's something wrong with me today.
I mean, it was a long time ago. And it's weird because Nintendo is always like staggered. So like the Xbox and the PlayStation are always like head to head, and Nintendo is always like doing their own thing.
People are probably going to be so shocked when they watch this and realize I don't know anything. So they're going to be like, the kid's got a really big forehead, but there's nothing in there.
The forehead again.
Sorry.
Anyways,
Again, I hijacked your game again.
I
Did
mean,
you get it all off your chest?
we it's a discussion. It's okay. Yeah, I think so. I think my point was that I mostly grew up with Crystal, and then we got Ruby, and I liked it a lot, and then I eventually played Emerald.
So do you? Oh yeah, I don't know if I. So do you? Did you like that generation? Do you think more because you played it more than like? I feel like most people who grew up with Pokemon, I think I could be wrong, would pick like red, blue, or yellow. Did you play through those a lot?
Not a lot, because like I said, I only played those when I borrowed it.
Yeah.
So when I
maybe that's part of it.
finally saved up enough money to get my own, it came with Crystal. So
Yeah.
when I finally got to play my own Game Boy and play through my own save file, it was Crystal. So that was Generation 2. But on my list, I have Pokemon Emerald just because I think that is the best of those three generations. So that's why I put it in there. But I have a soft spot for Crystal, and it would probably be in my top 20 as well. So, yeah. And when I do play them again, every once in a while on allegedly emulators.
Oh yeah, we don't use. Well, isn't it? It's legal.
It's
I don't
a
know
gray
if we
area.
need to get into this.
It's a gray area.
I was told.
I do own them.
That's what I was told, that if you own the system and you own the game, then it's not illegal. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not giving legal advice.
Yeah.
This is what I heard from someone, but I don't think anyone really knows.
It's a gray area. We don't have to get into it.
Maybe for another time.
Yeah. But when I do play Crystal nowadays, I play one of the ROM hacks that you were talking about before, like people like hack it.
You allegedly do?
No.
You really?
I really do.
Call the cops.
And it's basically just a remake of Crystal in Emerald. So it's like has all like the better like graphics and like features and stuff. But
That's
it's
cool.
like Crystal. So
I love that people do that.
Crystal Dust. Shout out to whoever made that. All right, what's your number 8?
I feel like this was a little bit more of a niche game. A little bit.
Definitely.
Okay.
Cult following, I would say.
Okay. My number 8 is TimeSplitters Future Perfect.
Specifically that one.
Well, so there were multiple TimeSplitters games. To my knowledge, we played all of them. I think there were 3. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think there was 1, 2, and Future Perfect.
Did you know EA made that?
Gosh, I hate EA.
Did you know that they might be remaking one of them?
I did hear something about
Or they're
that.
making a new one? Or
Yeah,
something like that?
I heard something about it. Because it was big in my household. My brother Derek mentioned something about it to me. Because it's got a really loyal following. I would imagine anybody who plays first-person shooters now who tried to go back and played TimeSplitters would hate it. I think it was kind of clunky
Yeah.
as far as a shooter, I think. But I didn't know any better. It was the first shooter, like first-person shooter game I'd ever gotten into. And it was kind of goofy. You had like goofy, lovable characters. The cutscenes were kind of funny but fun to follow. Cool little story. Sort of futuristic too, which would end up becoming something that I sometimes like with video games. But the multiplayer on it was something, again, I think a lot of my list is GameCube games because, spoiler alert, because of the multiplayer aspect to them. It was something that was just so big. I remember like just friends coming over and we would just play GameCube for like 12 hours straight.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of the best games. It had a cool, like you could do co-op on the story mode. I had a lot of fun with that one.
Yeah.
That's one that I actually played a little tiny bit of recently with my nephew. I introduced him to it. We played through the first, I guess you could call them, few chapters of the story mode. It was fun.
That's cool. Yeah, I was surprised that it was that one is the one that you chose, because usually I think 2 is the one that is considered the best one, but I have really no idea because I've never played them.
What's funny, I don't remember the other ones that much. Future Perfect's the one that we played a lot, I think.
Yeah. I remember when like we started playing like Xbox games together, like in high school. We'd like start playing like zombies and stuff like that. And specifically Daniel would say it, but I think both of you guys would say like, hey, it's just like TimeSplitters.
Oh gosh, that wasn't me. But I remember, I think TimeSplitters, like out of the box, had an inverted look. So like you press down and you look up.
Yeah, a lot of the games back then.
It took, I don't know why. I mean, it seems so counterintuitive now.
Yeah.
But like, I remember when I started playing video games with you and you do a lot of first person shooters, that was something, I think for a little while, I actually would go in and change the setting.
Yeah, you did.
To inverted. And then at some point, I don't like change. So there's probably a game where you couldn't change the setting and I just had to get used to it.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of games back then just had weird controls. It took a couple generations for games to like settle on like the best kind of control scheme,
which kind of makes sense.
Yeah, like
They didn't
especially
know any
like
better.
PS1 era, and like when they first got into like 3D spaces, they just didn't know how to like have the player control the character very well in 3D.
Most of GameCube games I thought actually did a phenomenal job, honestly. But there were little things like that where like that was not okay.
Yeah, GameCube and like PS2 and stuff like that is when they finally started to like kind of figure it out a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What was your number 8?
My number 8 is Star Wars Battlefront 2 on the PS2. That game was legendary. Even like non-Star Wars fans would probably consider that in their top 10, or just casual Star Wars fans, just because it was just a fun game. It was.
I mean, I've heard great things.
Yeah, I mean that's why they rebooted it, and it didn't do as well. But
I had some fun on that one.
Yeah, the first one we played a lot together. The new one,
the most recent one.
No, not the most recent one.
Yeah, no, but the most recent one is the one that was gifted to me.
Yes, that I gifted to you.
That I never played. I'm the worst person ever. I don't know why either. I must have been so busy at the time.
Yeah, I mean, it was right when it came out, which was like 2017.
So I was probably like busy with tour stuff, kind of like now.
Probably. Yeah. But yeah, the original, I mean, it had a great story mode where you play as the clones that the 501st Legion that accompanies Anakin and then eventually Darth Vader, and it's from the perspective of one of the clones. This was before the Clone Wars show where you actually get those perspectives.
Do you think that's where they got the idea from?
No.
Or do we know?
I don't think so. No, it was very different. But
sorry, I ask dumb questions sometimes.
But it was very interesting and like sad because at that point it hadn't been established yet that the clones were forced to turn on the Jedi. It was that they had known the whole entire time. So when like Order 66 happens, you hear his monologue in the cutscene is like they never knew it was coming, and like it was a very like sad and like kind of sinister. Like they weren't good at all. Like they knew that they were going to turn on the Jedi at some point.
Is this why you are the way you are now?
What does that mean?
Nothing. I just wanted to say
that it was traumatic for me.
Yeah.
No. But it was a very good story mode, and just the multiplayer itself was so good. I don't know why they didn't bring some of the stuff over in the new one.
Is it similar at all to the new one?
Over like grand in a grand scheme, yeah, it's very similar. Like
But very different at the same time.
Yeah, like they just didn't I guess the main thing that I wanted them to bring back was the Galactic Conquest mode, which let you pick a side and then basically kind of play like a board game where you like pick a planet that you want to conquer, and you go in and it's against the AI, or you can do it against a second player, and you fight on that planet on the map, and whoever wins takes over that planet, and if they win, they can like move on to the next planet. It's kind of like Risk.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
And that was like the best mode. Me and Ben would play that together like all of the time. One of the best modes ever. And everyone, I think, would agree with me. But they just didn't bring that over. That was like the biggest thing people wanted. But yeah.
It's nice.
What number are we on now? What's your number 7?
So my number 7, let me make sure so I went with Super Monkey Ball 2 on the GameCube. Again, sticking with GameCube, and the main reason is just the multiplayer. Mm-hmm. One of my favorite things about this is I think I called the game Super Monkey Balls for a while.
Naturally.
Yeah. So, so the single player is kind of cool. You essentially, you're a monkey, you're in a ball, and you're super, and that's it. No. So you have to get through maps and obstacles. And me and my brothers just had this argument the other day when we were out to lunch with our grandma, because this is the stuff we talk about, where we were talking about how so in the game, you move the map to move your ball. Mm-hmm. But I think it was Daniel was dead set on like you move the ball, not the map. And I guess we could research this for final say. I'm pretty sure you move the map.
It's like pinball kind of.
Sort of. But so my favorite part of this was the multiplayer. I think my favorite game was probably the Monkey Target. So you would go off this huge ramp. Everyone would open their balls, and then your balls become wings.
Right. As one does. Your balls become wings.
So your balls become wings, and then you have to fly in the air and get bananas or other items that help you land on targets that are out in the middle of like an ocean. and then you rack up points, kind of almost like darts for landing on targets. And then they also had like monkey golf, like I had a lot of fun on. Kind of reminds me of like we play golf with friends now and stuff. Do you ever actually sneeze?
Usually, more than once. I don't know.
But so yeah, you had like monkey golf, which was similar to like today's like golf with friends that we'll sometimes play when we get online. Or it had billiards.
Yeah.
And it had some other cool games too, like
I saw the billiards right here.
almost like where you're like, I can't remember how it worked, but you were basically like, it was like flying a spaceship kind of, and like you could shoot each other. There was a racing mode. It was a lot of fun. It was a great multiplayer game. There's been more recent versions made that weren't good. In fact, I think
Isn't there one on the Switch?
there's actually a brand new one. Switch. Now I've got to know.
Yeah, there's one on the Switch.
But I don't know if it's any good. I haven't played it yet.
Oh, I think it's
so that's one I've tried.
Yeah, it's a remake, I think, or a remaster.
I don't know. Anyways, loved Super Monkey Ball 2. What's your number 7?
Ghost Recon Wildlands. And I am sure there will be people that will criticize me for that, but
I'll be one of them.
You've never played it.
Just for the fun of it.
This is a game that I tried to get you to play. So
I really need to try that game out, though.
This game kind of got flack for kind of changing the game of Ghost Recon because traditionally Ghost Recon was one of those Tom Clancy games where it's like focused on realism, but it would focus on like specific scenarios that you would play out with like a team based, like you'd have like a squad of 4 players that you could like control. Like you like control each of the squad members, and they like each would do like different things and stuff. And Wildlands kind of changed it to be more of like an open world, and you can like go and do whatever missions that you want to in whatever order you want to, which I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that sounds cool to me. I like the idea of that when it's not always done well, I guess. But.
Yeah. So this game had the co-op mechanic. You can like play online with 3 other players, so you'd have a 4-person squad of your friends, and you could
Sounds like something we would have really enjoyed.
Yeah, it's something that we did enjoy with my other friends. We played it all the time. Like it was during a time when you were busy. It was during the time when you didn't play Battlefront 2 as well. 2017, 2018. We played.
I feel like the last like 5 or 6 years, I haven't had much time for video games.
I think this game probably has my most hours on Xbox One. I'll just show some gameplay here, maybe. But yeah, you can like you can like be stealthy if you want, or you can like go loud and just like light up the place. Some of the missions like required you to be stealthy, and if you got caught, then you had to like start over.
Yeah.
So it was always like fun to do all that kind of stuff. And you like each person, you aren't forced to play a certain way for the most part. And if you liked being a sniper and like staying back and like covering people, like
could you usually do that?
Other people might be more for like going in and sneaking in and like doing like hands-on stuff. So
yeah. Well, yeah, and it's true, especially if you're playing co-op with friends.
Yeah, we had a really good system where we like had people like in their usual like their roles that we just kind of would set, and like I would always be the one that would like go in, like basically do what this guy's doing on this video. He's just sneaking into this building and taking out people like really close. You can like hand-to-hand combat them, like sneak up behind them and like snap their neck and stuff. And then like we would always have like, you know, like Spencer would always be like the sniper, like up on a hill or like up on a tower or something and like covering. So if like I miss somebody, then he would just like snipe them for me.
Yeah, this looks cool.
It takes place in Bolivia, and it's all about like drug cartels and
Yeah,
stuff.
I know where that is.
It's such a good game. And they had like a super hard mode where you would like have like nothing on your screen at all, except for like necessary stuff. So like you wouldn't even like see your reticle or like how much ammo you had. And
Just going for realism.
yeah, like super realism and like
I like when that's an option in a game to be super realistic. That doesn't always make it the best way to play it.
Yeah, when we usually played with 4 people, we wouldn't turn that stuff on because it just made it not fun. Like if you were playing by yourself, it's a little more fun because you have like AI teammates that help you a lot.
Yeah.
But when you're with 4 other people or 3 other people, then
wasting bullets.
It's just like, unless you're like super locked in, and sometimes we were, most of the time we were, but you know, sometimes it's not as fun when you're like being punished for no reason. So yeah, highly recommend Wildlands if you are into co-op open world games like that and like military style games.
You're making me want to try more games.
That's the goal.
I just don't have time.
Yeah, we really need to try Wildlands sometime.
We
That's
should.
for sure. It's not on Game Pass, but I'll buy it for you.
Please don't.
It gets pretty cheap these days.
Let me buy it, so if I don't play it, I don't feel bad.
All right, what's your number?
Number 6.
Number 6.
So I would consider everything else on my list to be like, we'll put it like a legend tier. Like these really all 10 of these are like favorite games of mine. Mm-hmm. But I feel like we're getting up there. Like the order starting to kind of make sense. My number 6 is Mario Kart Double Dash. There have been a lot of Mario Kart games. I'm not going to sit here and say that this is the best one because I really don't know. But this is the one that I played so much. We played through the whole thing, unlocked all of the tracks and characters and everything. I actually just recently played this with over at Alex's house. Mm-hmm. Got on GameCube and played that. So much fun. I mean, I feel like every Mario Kart's really similar in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But this one, I just spent so much time on these tracks and with these characters and these cars and stuff. It was just, again, like a lot of these other GameCube games that are on my list, which so far is almost all of them. Just the multiplayer on this was so much fun. If I'm remembering right, you could do 2-player like co-op to unlock things. It was a lot of fun. The baby characters were always, So we got baby Mario, baby Luigi right here. They always felt like they were the best. Now I gotta find it. On Mario Beach, we had a name for like everything.
Of course you did.
Well, yeah, this game actually explains us a lot. Oh yeah, the pecking weirdos on Mario Beach, or Peach Beach is what it is. That's what we called these guys. They were pecking weirdos. If you played the game, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Peach Beach.
This was one of my favorite tracks. I also liked... let me see if I can find it. I don't want to waste too much time on this because this is going to be a lot of dead air. But
so I think they brought a lot of these maps to the latest Mario Kart.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. They got a big map DLC, like a free DLC, recently, and there was like a ton of old maps that they brought back. So I'm assuming a lot of these are probably in that one now.
Yeah, so a couple of my favorites. I mean, obviously, you got to have Rainbow Road in there. DK Mountain was one of my favorite tracks. Baby Park is the best multiplayer track because it's a super short track and it's just utter chaos the whole time, getting like destroyed by items.
Yeah.
Dino Jungle was a good one. Yoshi had one. I don't see. Yeah, Yoshi Circuit. Luigi Circuit was like really cool, but super simple. I had a lot of fun on this game. I really did.
Yeah, I mean, Mario Kart is definitely one of those like franchises that always, like, you always have to have that in your top influential games of all time, for sure.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
What's your number 6?
Number 6 is Splinter Cell on Xbox. This game is so good. I recently replayed through all of the Splinter Cells. That it was an era that most games from that era don't age well. This was one of the first, if not in the first batch of like Xbox games.
I think I had it on DS. Was it on DS?
There was one of them on the DS.
Yeah, so I think I did play this some. I never got super into it.
I don't think
probably
it's the
because
original.
it was on.
There's multiple.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've played one of them.
I mean, the DS version is going to be vastly different. Mobile
I'm sure.
versions are usually a lot different than the like.
Yeah,
console
well, yeah, and I
versions.
never got super into it, and I'm sure that's a lot of the reason why.
But it is a Tom Clancy game, so it takes place in the same universe as the last game I just talked about, Ghost Recon Wildlands. The character you play as, Sam Fisher, he shows up in Wildlands, which is really cool. But that series is so good. I would love to put like the whole series on here, but the first one definitely is the most influential and probably the hardest game that I've ever played in my life.
That'd be another reason I wouldn't have finished it.
Well, we couldn't finish it for the longest time. I mean, we played it throughout our like entire childhood and like high school, and like we would try to go back and beat it, and like we would use guides, and like we just could not do it. And I finally went back and replayed it last summer and finally finished it for the first time.
You want to know one of the games that was like that for me, where like I got stuck on a level and finally gave up? You'll think this is funny. Call of Duty Big Red 1 on GameCube.
That is a hard game.
I don't remember where I got stuck, but eventually I was like, I'm not doing this anymore.
That one is pretty hard. I replayed that not too long ago too. Yeah.
I can't remember why I got stuck. I think it maybe had something where I couldn't figure out where to go,
Yeah,
or something like that.
If it's the one I'm thinking of, there's a part where there's like a tank, and the tank is like constantly shooting at you, and like it is not clear of what you need to do and where you need to go.
That kind of sounds, that might have been it.
I got stuck on it, and like I replayed it recently.
That might have been it.
Yeah, I had no idea what to do.
Well, and this was like way before I would just hop on YouTube and figure out what to
exactly.
do.
Yeah, back then, like you'd maybe like look up on like what was it called? I mean, IGN.
Get up on your dial-up internet.
IGN had guides.
Spend 30 minutes trying to get onto the website.
Yeah. Yeah, that was never an option back then. I mean, for the most part. Yeah, that's funny.
Did Splinter Cell have good multiplayer?
It didn't have multiplayer.
I think the one I played did. So did later versions have it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so later versions, especially Conviction and Blacklist, had great multiplayer. And Blacklist, I guess both of them
Maybe it didn't have multiplayer.
Really good co-op. Yeah, Conviction and Blacklist definitely would be up here in the top 10, but I just thought I would put the original on there. I love Blacklist.
Looks like Chaos Theory was on DS.
That sounds right. That's the third one.
Yeah, but I don't really remember it. I didn't play it much.
Yeah. But yeah, it's all about like being like a stealthy, like I think for most of the games he's like a CIA agent or like some kind of secret agent or whatever. But it's all about like stealth. The biggest mechanic in the original and the later ones was the use of like light.
I remember that.
So you would like be in the shadows and you would have like a bar to tell you how visible you were to the enemies. And if you were in the shadows, like they could not see you for the most part unless they like came up right on you.
Yeah.
And it would like fluctuate depending on like how far into the shadows you were. So, and it's not like a shooter. Like there were parts in it where you like shoot people, but like you start with like 1 or 2 magazines in your gun. And most of the time you don't get more ammo. So you can't just go around like shooting people. Like you have to be stealthy and like choose your shots wisely.
Yeah.
So that's
cool.
Super hard.
Yeah.
And a lot of the maps and levels were just super complicated and like knowing where to go was really hard.
I like when stealth gameplay is done right.
Yeah, that's like the pinnacle of stealth gameplay right there. All of those games. If you want to play like a more modern version of that, just play the latest one. It's called Blacklist. I play Conviction and Blacklist. Those two are amazing.
Should I tell you I'm going to have to check that out?
Yeah, you should.
I'm going to have to check that out.
You have to check those out.
Yeah.
Everyone should check out
the
the
Splinter
Splinter
me.
Cell series.
I'm going to.
Yeah. Maybe tomorrow.
Probably.
All right, what's your number 5?
This one's embarrassing. No, it's really not. But it's another like very niche game.
Sort of.
So my number 5 is Elite Dangerous. I sunk so many hours into this when I first got it. So Elite Dangerous, for those of you who don't know,
Bring up stuff.
it is. So are you going to be sharing this screen?
I've been recording the whole time, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so Elite Dangerous, you're going to find so much hate on it looking it up now, and we'll get into that in a minute. But
I just want gameplay.
You're flying a spaceship, and it's one of those games where you start with nothing, you're given no directions, and there's all kinds of different ways to earn money and better ships and better parts. And just the idea of flying around in space was so cool to me. And it was kind of like a non-Star Wars branded, like being Han Solo almost in some ways. That's a horrible way of explaining it. If you think it's that, you'll get your hopes up. But
yeah.
But it's just such a cool, just the vibe of the game was so cool. And then the combat, I think it's done really well. Some people don't. There's not. I think maybe some people would argue there's not a big enough skill gap, and that just having the best ship is going to win a lot of times, which is true sometimes, not entirely. But I spent so much time on this. The thing that got me out of it, and honestly, I'm probably never going to play it again, is the game just started to get way too much of a grind. Like it was when I played it, but I kind of enjoyed it at first. But it gets old, and then they keep messing up the new content. So one of the things I was looking forward to the whole time I was playing this game so much was going to be the first-person shooter aspect, where you could actually finally get out of your spaceship and walk around planets and walk around your ship and walk around stations and do all that cool stuff and fight, do like FPS shooting and stuff. They messed it all up. They did it so bad. You can't even walk around your ship. So it just got old. It got too much of a grind. but it had to be this high on the list because of how in love with this game I was when I was playing it.
Yeah. I can vouch for that. How
Yeah,
much you loved it.
I know you remember.
I am not a fan. I'm just not a fan of like flight sims in general. And that's a lot of what this is.
It's as almost as much a simulator as it is a game.
Yeah, and I'm just not into that kind of thing. That simulators just focus on things I don't want to think about in games. Like there's just way too much involved in like flying these ships that I just don't want to think about.
I remember it had a huge learning curve.
Yeah, I had no idea what I was doing for most of the time.
Clearly, I'm the bad friend. You try out all the games I want you to try out. I'm the worst.
I mean, it was fun. Like, even if I don't like a game, I'll still like have fun playing it with people. But, yeah, I'm just not a fan. I would never play it by myself.
What's your number 5?
Number 5. Ooh, this one's saucy. Star Wars: A New Droid Army. This one's very niche. It is a Game Boy Advanced game.
Really?
And it...
See, I've never even heard of it.
Yeah, most people haven't ever heard of it or played it. It is from the prequel era. It takes place right after Episode 2. You play as Anakin. Here, I'll bring up some.
I was about to say, you've got to bring up video of this.
I mean, it's a Game Boy game, so you know what you're going to get into here. But it was just so cool. It was like kind of 3D looking.
Yeah, for a game or a Game Boy game, it looks
good. You get like force powers, and the lightsaber combat was really good for being a Game Boy game. It's kind of a side scroller, but you get every direction, so it's kind of 3D.
Yeah, but for being a Game Boy game, it looks like really good, smooth.
It's so good.
Gameplay.
I replay this game all the time. It's like the game I always make sure I have like on my phone or like on my emulators or whatever at all times.
I'm sure it's one of those games that you like just wish they would make another one,
but
like new. Definitely.
And the combat is similar to another game that's on my list, Jedi Academy, which it's a game that I'm heavily involved in the community with still. I've tried to attempt to maybe like make a mod in Jedi Academy for this game and just like remake it in Jedi Academy, but that's a lot of work and I just ended up not doing it. But it is something that I think would be really cool to see. Even if it was just like a mobile game and just make it the same as this, but like higher quality graphics would be so cool. But yeah.
You can't go wrong with anything Star Wars.
I would agree with that. Most people would not agree with that, but what is your number 4?
Number 4 is NASCAR Thunder 2003. It's I guess it wasn't the first NASCAR game I played, but it's the first NASCAR game that I really got into. Guys, you're really breathing into the mic. You're getting hot. So NASCAR Thunder 2003. A lot of people view it as one of the best racing games of all time, or at least right up there. It would be right up there with like NASCAR Thunder 2004, Chase for the Cup 2005, Dirt to Daytona. Like most sports games, I see that grin on your face while you're watching this. Like most sports games, the pinnacle was kind of back in the 2003 or 4 through like 2008-9 era. So, But the career mode on this game, this is the first GameCube game that I've got on my list that really was the single player that got me. I love the career mode. It was really in depth. you were basically the owner of a team. You would start out in a horrible car and you would upgrade it throughout your career as you earned money. And it was a lot of fun. The multiplayer was fun too. Played a decent amount of multiplayer with friends. It kind of stunk because if you had like 4 players, I think you could only race with like 9 total cars or something like that. Like they shrunk the field the more players you added, which was kind of dumb. I'm sure there was some sort of limitation reason.
Yeah, for sure.
And they also
GameCube
had,
was not powerful.
They had a mode where you could play out like certain scenarios, and I loved. There was one where you were racing at Talladega and a wreck happened right in front of you, and you had to avoid it. So it was fun. Again, one of my favorite career modes of like any game.
Yeah. This footage is from the PS2, to be clear. But, yep, same game.
Looks very similar.
Yeah. Okay. My number 4 is Medal of Honor Frontline on the PS2. Oh boy, this game. So good.
Pull up some clips.
Yeah, I should have done this with the other games.
Yeah, oh well. We're not very good at this.
Medal of Honor used to be such a huge
Those
franchise.
graphics are so realistic. They look like real people.
So this is like the Call of Duty series before Call of Duty. Like this is what like every shooter franchise wanted to be. They were always World War II because that's just like the craze back then was to make World War II games.
It still almost is.
And it's not.
It's what the people want.
Clearly not.
Give them what they want, Brad.
Call of Duty Vanguard clearly flopped. So
it's what I want in a game.
They were good back then. Nowadays they just can't. I don't want to get into it. Because they actually focused on like keeping it realistic to a certain degree while still making it fun. And all the stories were like, I wouldn't say based on real stories, but they were mostly believable other than just having a guy going through and like murdering like hundreds of Nazis by himself. Obviously that's not realistic, but
I think it is.
Everything else, you know, it's grounded, and that's like the biggest word I have to use for like shooter games that take place in eras that have already existed. So, this one specifically, there were a lot of Medal of Honor games, and we loved them all, but Frontline specifically was like the first one that we really got into, and the story and like the atmosphere, like it was creepy, and
those graphics take me right back to TimeSplitters.
Yeah, same era. Yeah, the graphics are really, really good for that time. He's looking at pictures.
I saw.
Yeah, like the maps and stuff had stuff like details like that everywhere. It was crazy for that time. But yeah, and this was a game where we spent so much time trying to beat it, and it took us a long time. We eventually did. Oh, I've thought of another game I should have put on my list. That's all right.
Save it for later.
Yeah, it's
Honorary
probably not top 10, but definitely top 20. What is your number 3?
Number 3, Madden 2006. I didn't really know which game from this era to pick. I could have done 06, 07, or 08. This is probably one of the games I spent the most time on. Big football fan, and there's actually a hint for one of my either number 1 or 2. You'll find out soon. I can't remember where I was going with that. But so this is one of the games that really got me into football. I guess technically 05 and the other game on my list would have, but I had so much fun playing through franchise modes on this. Played a little bit with friends, but Madden was always more of kind of a single player game for me, where I could, whether it was building a team and trying to take them to as many Super Bowls as possible. They had the Superstar mode in these. They had the Vision Cone in that. But the Superstar mode was like groundbreaking, like for sports games, I thought. And it was back when EA was still kind of innovative. So there's a lot to love about this game. I think I mentioned this in the another video that we did. I think NFL 2K5 is a better game. I would have liked that more, but I didn't know it existed. So I had Madden 2006 and I loved it.
I mean, 5, 6, and 7 were all probably what people would consider the best Maddens.
For sure.
We had all 3 of those, and I remember playing, I think it was either 5 or 6. Me and Ben would play it together all the time. So I'm not a football fan, but I played it.
It was such a good game. We're flying through these last ones as it gets later and later.
Yeah.
It is 11:40 our time right now for anybody watching.
Yeah. That's all right.
Even my dog's going crazy. What is your number 3?
All right, my number 3 is technically two games.
This is not allowed.
But I'm going to allow it.
You're breaking the rules.
Well, you didn't establish the rules.
10 games was the only rule.
I'm looping them in together because they are so similar. So they are Star Wars Jedi Outcast and Jedi Academy. They were released like within 18 months of each other. So the Academy is kind of considered just like an add-on to Outcast. Jedi Outcast had a very good single player story, but and a good multiplayer as well. But Academy kind of took multiplayer to like the next level, and is much better multiplayer. Single player is not so great, so that's why I loop them together. I consider Outcast like the single player experience for these games, and Academy for the multiplayer. So it's also a game that I've been involved with basically since they came out, through like the modding community, and chances are you might be watching this and already knew that. So it is number 3, not number 1. I'm sorry, guys. And that's all.
Comment your feelings on that below.
Yeah. Send me your hatred like you usually do. Just kidding.
When did that game come out?
Outcast came out 20 years ago.
That's
2002.
I knew that. I hate myself.
That's
what the interview is
about. If you haven't seen it yet, I did interview some of the developers of Jedi Outcast for the 20th anniversary.
It's really cool. If you played the game, you've got to check out the interview.
Yeah, it's like 2 hours long, and it's just basically them talking about
just a bunch of legends hanging out.
Yeah, like they're old friends. I mean, a lot of them still like keep in touch, but a couple of them don't even work there anymore. So hearing them just like catch up with each other and talk about something that they were super passionate about making back then was just so cool. So definitely I'll link it to wherever.
Yeah, I never
in the description, whatever.
I never played the game, but I thought it was such a cool interview. Just the passion they had was really
if you've never
really
even
awesome.
heard of the game, you just know like they loved making it, and hearing people being passionate about something even if you don't know about it is such a treat. So
for sure.
And I'm sure I'll talk more about these games in other episodes and stuff just because I'm so immersed in whatever. So I won't spend too much time talking about it here, but they are my number 3. What is your number 2?
My number 2 has a twist. So I'm not a big first-person shooter gamer. I play it with you and our friends because it's fun that way, but I'm not good. I don't play it a lot.
Right.
With that being said, a first-person shooter made number 2 on my list,
Yep.
but with a technicality.
Yeah.
Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, but specifically zombies. We've spent so much time playing zombies on this game.
Yep.
The like little stories and the Easter eggs and all that's so fun. I don't know. I think because this is a way for me to feel like I'm okay at first person shooters because they're not shooting me back.
Usually.
Yeah. But I don't know. I love zombies in a lot of Call of Duty games. This one probably stands out the most though. When we're playing this game, I'm Dr. Dave. I'm sitting here with bomb defusing Brad.
Yeah, so if you chances are you aren't familiar with Exo Zombies because it was not popular. It was a mode that they added later in its life. Advanced Warfare also, it just wasn't really popular in general because of the way they changed the game. But zombies didn't come out for this game until like 6 months.
I'm not sure. I don't remember, to be honest.
It was like half a year. So
well, and then the first map wasn't really even very like. We didn't really like the first map.
No,
when zombies came out.
It was back when you had to pay for every DLC map pack, and you only got one zombies map per pack. So we all had to pay for these stupid maps.
Worth it.
Separately, which I had been doing for Call of Duty for years. But this is a zombies that had this game had exosuits where you could like jump and like dash in the air, and you have like different abilities with your exosuit.
Legendary cauterizer
gun, which is basically like this game's ray gun from the other zombies, just like the gun that you really want to strive to get. The cool part about this game was they had like these really cool Easter eggs that you could do that weren't too hard. I mean, you still kind of had to look up what to do, but
you definitely had to look up what to do, and you had to get kind of far on them. I think
some of them were like pretty in depth, but I don't think they were as in depth as some of the later zombies after this game came out.
Probably not. But my favorite was Burger Town.
Yeah, Burger Town Boy. With Burger Boy was great. I don't know if they play that map on here, but no, this is just the same map.
Well, which map introduced bomb defusing Brad? Was the Carrier the first one?
Yeah, that was Carrier. So then, yeah.
And what was Daniel? Daniel's the smashing thing. What's that?
Oh, Slammin' Dan.
Yeah, Slammin' Dan because of I don't even remember that perk.
Yeah, it was just Exo Slam. You just slam down.
Did Jacob have a name?
He was Moneybags McGee because he would always run for the money drops.
Moneybags. Oh man, we're gonna have to play this again before too terribly long.
This is a game that we always bring out whenever we just like want to play something we're familiar with.
Do you hate this game now because of that?
Because of playing
because we play it so much, even still.
We hardly ever play it anymore.
Yeah, not anymore.
No, I think I don't like it as a Call of Duty game, but as a zombies game, I like it.
That's good to know.
But I did get very tired of it during that like 1 year that we played it every single day,
so
almost.
Much.
Yeah, it was a lot, and we just. When you're playing zombies, like your goal is to play as long as possible until you die.
So we'd be 5 hours in.
Yeah, 5 or 6 hours sometimes.
It'd be 2 a.m. And
that was when I was in college. So when we were playing most of the time this game, and so I'd have to be playing remotely, and sometimes like my roommates would be in bed for like hours and I'd still be playing this game.
We should be in bed now. Update, it is 11:50 p.m. our time.
Are you wanting to go to bed?
No, we are going to finish what we started. I'm actually having a good time. It's bringing back a lot of good memories.
Yeah.
That being said, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is...
Squeeze it out. Pinch it off. I'm sorry.
Please don't say that ever again.
I'm such a child. What's your number 2?
That just makes me think of Dave. He would always say, pinch it off. My number 2 is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. 2. Does number 2 make you laugh?
Doo-doo.
This game, I didn't realize we were going to
perfect.
talk about Call of Duty twice in a row.
I didn't either.
And to be clear, this is the one from the 360. I have to clarify that because there will be another Modern Warfare 2 coming out later this year, which I am excited for. This is basically, in my opinion, the perfect Call of Duty game.
I want to see. I'm going to try to watch through this. I haven't played all the Call of Duties. I think I did play this one, though.
I think I did get you to play through the 3 Modern Warfares. This is like the most legendary mission in the whole series, where you go through a entire airport as the bad guy. Well, you're not a bad guy, but you're with the bad guys undercover, and you basically just slaughter all the civilians.
And doesn't he turn on you at the end? Yep, I've played this one. That was a really good story mode.
Yep.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this story mode.
Yeah, it's one of the best campaigns ever.
I've always thoroughly enjoyed Call of Duty campaigns. I haven't played them all. Just I don't know why.
They're all.
Money?
I would say they're all good. All Call of Duty campaigns are good. Not all of them are great.
Oh, I remember this scene.
Yeah, that scene was crazy. You're not really expecting it. At least I wasn't back when I first played it, but yeah, this whole campaign is just so good. I recently replayed it because they remastered it, the campaign itself. But so good. So it had a campaign, it had multiplayer, obviously, and the multiplayer was also legendary. And is kind of still to this day considered like the peak Call of Duty multiplayer experience. And it also had Spec Ops, which I think is a very underrated mode. I always preferred that kind of stuff over zombies.
I feel like we played it some.
I don't know if you did, but we did a lot.
I maybe have to.
I mean, this came out in 2009.
Man, it's that old.
Yeah.
Looks good for 2009.
Yeah, I'm sure this is the remastered, so that's why. But yeah, the Spec Ops was great because you could. It was 2-player, but you would they're basically just co-op missions that were based on the campaign missions, and we'd play those all the time. Me and Drew would play those all the time. We got all the stars on them, which means you play them all on like the hardest difficulty, and it was insane.
Not often that I'm familiar with something you're talking about. It's a good game.
Yeah, highly recommend playing the campaign if you haven't yet. Multiplayer is probably full of hackers, but yeah, I am super excited for the new one. It's not a remaster or like a remake. It's just the next Call of Duty that's gonna be called Modern Warfare 2.
Genius marketing.
Yeah, I mean it's a reboot of the series, but it's not like a remake. Yeah.
Cool stuff.
What's your number 1?
My number one. So I couldn't decide on a number one, if I'm being completely honest. But I went with NFL Street 2.
It's a good choice.
This game, I can literally say changed my life. I remember going over to a friend's house, probably 3rd or 4th grade, and he whipped this game out. I knew like nothing of football.
This looks so much worse than the PS2 version.
And stop making fun of my number one game. But it literally, I ended up playing football in middle school and high school, and it's because of this game.
Really?
Like, as dumb as that sounds.
No.
Realistically, it's more, and I kind of sort of hinted at this with Madden, but like Madden probably had as much to do with it. But I would have never gotten into Madden if it wasn't for NFL Street.
Yeah.
And technically that was NFL Street 1, but then I played NFL Street 2, and I think that that's a better game.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's just the gameplay is so fun.
Yeah.
They made the defensive side of football so much fun.
Oh, yeah.
It was easy to pick up and play and not be like terrible at. They had some fun game modes. There's kind of like a story mode for NFL Street 2. I don't think there was for 1. And then you could obviously like build a team and do the same thing as NFL Street 1. But then some of the game modes, like they had Crush the Carrier.
Oh, yeah.
They had 4 versus 4. They had like kind of like 500. Like if you remember playing that game, where like a quarterback will throw the ball up, and you know they throw a certain amount of balls up, and you had to.
Yeah, we played that all the time.
So much fun. I actually, when we went over to Alex and played some Mario Kart, we played a little bit of NFL Street, and we played Crush the Carrier in that like 500 game. So
yeah. If Ben ever comes on, we can talk more about this, because me and him played this all the time. I
think it's the best football game ever made, honestly.
I would agree, but I'm not a football fan.
I think a lot of people would disagree, because there's not depth to it. It's not an NFL sim, which is what a lot of people want. And it's just not that deep, but the gameplay is so much fun.
Oh, yeah. I mean, as someone that doesn't care about sports and didn't really... I mean, I didn't mind football. I didn't mind playing football, but I never watched it or like was interested in it. This game was amazing. This game was so much fun. I loved playing it all the time.
Like just watching it.
Yeah, like watching this gameplay just brings me back. Like, and I like, since I only understood like the basics of football, like that's all you really need to play this.
Yeah, move the ball downfield.
Yeah.
And then you had game breakers,
yeah,
like what they just got, where I wonder if they'll show you become unstoppable.
Yeah.
Or you'll
like
automatically like get a turnover pretty much if you're on defense.
Yeah.
It was fun.
You like do like moves and like jukes and stuff. You get like more points if you like do like the dance moves while you're moving.
So the style moves helped you earn a game breaker faster.
Yeah. That's so funny.
It's so dumb but so fun.
Oh, I really hope they remake this sometime.
So 2K, I think I've already mentioned this, but they now have the license to make arcade style football games, which an NFL Street style game would be on the table.
I don't know if I would trust 2K to do it though.
I wouldn't trust anybody to do it now.
Video.
But I trust 2K more than like an EA or somebody like that. Because if they made it kind of like what the NBA 2K Park is like, which a 2K game almost made my list,
who made
that would be so cool. It was EA.
I know which studio. Oh, right. They did the big.
Yeah, EA big. But yeah, if they made something, the problem is EA made it, so they're not going to just copy EA's game. But if they made something that was like this, maybe added some depth to it, oh my gosh, I would never need another football game. and they made it like the NBA 2K Park, where you have kind of a similar You have, a player, you have to develop them, you pick a position, you can play online with friends. It'd be fun.
That'd be awesome.
Maybe. Fingers crossed. What in the world is your number one? Wait for it.
Is the dog gonna go crazy again?
There's a decent chance.
Oh, wait.
Let's try. We'll start over if we need to. Here he is. I will ask again. What is your number one?
Okay, are you saying that because you don't know what it is? I take that as a yes. That's sad.
I bet I know what it is.
All right, I'll bring up gameplay.
Because I just read it.
No, I mean like what it is. My number one is Knights of the Old Republic. Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic. This is an amazing game. It's one of the best Star Wars stories in general. I'm trying to find gameplay. It's one of the it is the first like Star Wars RPG that was ever made. This game came out in 2003.
Continue.
And it really just focuses on like you create your own character and you go through this story. You don't really know much about like you don't know your backstory and the characters don't know your backstory. So there's a lot of mystery to like who you are. So a lot of it is just figuring some of that out. But like the world and like the story and like the world building itself was just like top notch.
Which is really important for a Star Wars game, in my opinion.
Or for any RPG, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, like all the characters, like you can talk to pretty much anybody. Your companions are like super well written. Voice acting is top notch. You eventually become a Jedi, and you can like choose the dark side or light side, and your choices matter in a lot of circumstances.
I don't know why I've never tried this game.
I don't think this is a game you'd really like. I don't think you're really like an RPG guy.
Maybe I'd surprise
See, like he's dark side in this video, and his face is like super messed up because of it. And the combat is like turn based, so it's not like you're like going around like waving around your lightsabers. I don't know if they'll show the combat here, but like you choose a move and then like that just paused it for a second there. I don't know if he's gonna go fight that thing.
Do it.
So he jumps to it and then he chooses a move and he does it, and then the enemy will do a move.
Yeah, I've seen gameplay of it before.
Yeah.
Just never played it. It looks really cool.
It's so cool. It'll always be my number one. And they are remaking it. They announced last year that they're going to be remaking it. So
Coming out like 2023?
probably 2024. That's my guess. They just announced it like last summer, I think. They didn't give us a release date, but yeah. I'm excited. It's such a good game.
I'm excited for you.
And there's the second one that came out like a year and a half after this one, which is also very good. And then there's also the MMO that I still play regularly, Star Wars: The Old Republic, like online game, which I think you did.
I tried it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't make it real far. I wanted to give it a chance. That one's not really my
That's one
thing.
That's a game, if you're not used to games like that, you need someone with you to like help you.
That makes sense.
Like I've got my siblings in on it, and
Yeah.
we've been playing it regularly. They just texted me earlier and asked me to play. Because once you like understand how everything works and everything, like you'll really enjoy it. I think you probably would enjoy that one.
I probably could get into it.
But yeah, there's a lot that you gotta learn. But
Well, it's probably about time to wrap this up. This actually went longer than I was expecting.
yeah, thanks for listening or watching, and we will see you next time.